County Board of Commissioners Human Services Committee meeting to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner McConnell?
Here.
Commissioner Heidemann? Oh, please, as a reminder, can you give me your location where you are tonight? Commissioner McConnell?
Lexington, Michigan.
Commissioner Heidemann? Is he logged in? Okay. Commissioner Dunn?
Here, Port Huron, Michigan.
Commissioner Bohm? Commissioner Rushing?
Here, Port Huron, Michigan.
Commissioner Graytop?
Here, Port Huron, Michigan.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Here, Port Huron, Michigan. We have a quorum.
Yes.
Will you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of
America
and to the
to the
republic
republic for which it
stands
Stands
one
nation,
for God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
justice for all.
Thank you. Are there any additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda?
Motion to
McConnell
accept
makes
the agenda
motion to
as-
approve.
Motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you. Did I hear a support?
Support McConnell.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Are there any citizens wishing to be heard this evening?
No.
No. Thank you. Any conceptual initiatives tonight?
None this evening.
Thank you. Any old business that anyone's aware of? Okay, moving on to item 7 under new business. Item A, Health Department agreement with K-PAC School District for mental health services.
I'd move this be moved to the full board. Done.
Great top, second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Dunn, support by Graytop to move to the full board. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
I just want to make a quick comment. This is be at least the second school system. They did this in Algonac a number of years ago, and now they're doing it in K-PAC. And Greg has told me he's out there looking for grant money that may be available where they can get some of services are maybe in the high school in that. So he's looking to help out in some ways. So I talked to Greg. I just wanted to share that with you.
Oh, thank you. I think it's completely needed and pretty important. So,
Yep.
Okay, so I have a motion to support. Any other questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item B, the Health Department Staff Development Day closure for the Health Department to close at noon on that day for staff development.
Motion McConnell. Send.
Support Rushing.
Okay, we have a motion support. Any questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any other human services matters anyone would like to discuss? Don't know if everyone has been tuning in on the Facebook Live every Thursday that Dr. Mercantile and Justin Westmiller do, but they are getting an awful lot of public participation, which I think is good, because then that information that's being passed on is accurate and, you know, provided by our heads who are, you know, looking out for the county. So I know that you can always view those videos later if you're not able to catch it live at 3:30, but they give a little update on what's happening. And then the rest of the time is public. They take questions and answer the public directly. And I think that's been pretty important for our community. So kudos to them for continuing to do it, because it's not always good news to pass on. And number 9, information only. 10, do I have a motion to receive and file packets?
So moved, Rushing.
Thank you. Do I have a support?
Done.
Motion by Rushing, supported by Dunn. Any questions, comments?
Done.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
All right.
Motion carries. Motion to adjourn. Was that you, Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Rushing.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn, moved and supported. Any questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, meeting adjourned.
I like that.
7 minutes. Not that I'm counting.
Okay, I would
Do they
like
have to state
to
the
open the
location?
St. Clair County Board of Commissioners Judiciary and Public Safety Committee meeting. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Present, Port Huron, Michigan.
Commissioner Heidemann,
Howard, you're muted.
Here. Thank you.
Commissioner Dunn,
Here, Port Huron, Michigan.
Commissioner Bohm, Commissioner Rushing,
Here, Port Huron, Michigan.
Commissioner Graytop,
Here, Port Huron, Michigan.
Commissioner McConnell.
Here, Lexington. Thank you. Are there any additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda?
No.
Seeing none, could I have a motion to approve?
So moved, Dunn.
So moved.
We have motion, we have support. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. Are there any citizens to be heard?
We have none this evening.
Okay, thank you. Are there any updates? Seeing none, conceptual initiatives?
None this evening.
Okay, thank you. We have no old business. Under new business, item A, proclamation for Sheriff Timothy Donnellan for final action.
So moved, Dunn.
Baldwin support?
We have motion and support. I think it's pretty interesting that Sheriff Donnellan started his career with the county on March 17th. It's a very appropriate day for a Emmett young man to start his career, 32 years with the county. He's going to be greatly missed. He's done, I think, a great job, and we have a very good team in place that's going to be taken over. And he has the jail in good hands, and with Matt coming in to take over as sheriff, I think we're fortunate that we're going to hopefully have a flawless transition. But I'll be very happy when I can give him his proclamation. And I think his last day of work is Friday, and the 8th is the final day. So he's going to be missed, but is leaving a good legacy. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We also have item 7B, congressional certificate of recognition for the sheriff. If I could have a motion.
So
Baldwin?
moved, Rushing.
I wasn't able to read it. It wasn't sent out, or it didn't show up on mine. So
We do have a representative from Paul Mitchell's office that wanted to speak this evening. Ed Smith is on the line.
perfect. Are we going to do that right now, or do we do that?
No, we can do that right now.
Okay. Can you turn him on?
Yes, Tiffany can.
Okay.
This is for final action, right?
This is for final action. Yes.
Okay.
For live action.
All right, Ed, we can see you, but you're muted, so you'll have to unmute yourself.
Is that
There you
better?
go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Is the sheriff on board tonight or no?
He's
Yep,
listening.
he is logged in as well.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I as well have a congressional certificate of appreciation and recognition for Sheriff Donnellan, as Mr. McConnell has said, 33 years of the sheriff's department, the last 12 as the sheriff. So I'd be glad to person came on and Paul Mitchell and myself for all of the cooperation that we've had in the congressional office with the sheriff's department through Tim. We've come through situations in the last 4 years that with threats or threat assessments, whenever we had anything, we always notified the sheriff that we were in town and what our current situation was of that week or at that moment. And he was always available to provide assistance to us at our public events. And it is a different situation being out there with a member of Congress out in the public, and I do the lead and advance work. And I've always kept in touch with Tim regarding that. So I truly individually, and so does Paul Mitchell, we appreciate his assistance on several occasions when we were in St. Clair County. And I appreciate the friendship, and I will get this to him personally as soon as we can all meet again. So thank you for the time. I appreciate it.
Great. Ed, thank you very much.
Thanks, Ed.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so do we have motion and support? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Item 7C, the fiscal year 2021 Michigan Mental Health Court Grant Program contract and revised budget. This is the state court administration office. It's a $337,000 grant that gets pushed back down to us to use through the court system. And we need a motion to send this to full board if we could.
Great top motion.
Support.
Baldwin, support.
We have motion and support. Are there any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item 7D, the fiscal year 21 St. Clair County Community Mental Health Agreement for Drug Court Services. This is the DWI funding that's being applied for through Community Mental Health for the grant. So we need to have a motion to send that to full board if we could.
So moved, Rushing.
Done.
We have motion and support. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The fiscal year 2020 Michigan Mental Health Court Grant Program subcontract. It's a CMH amendment for final action. The previous agreement was for around $48,000 and we spent $65,000. The money is going to come out of mental health court. They're using funds from another area to pay for the increase. So I believe we would need a motion in support for final action, and it would have to be a roll call. So if I could have motion and support.
Great top makes the motion. Final action.
Baldwin, support.
Thank you for motion and support. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Graytop,
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. Item G. These are just renewals for another year. The sheriff contract for police service with the Charter Township of China. If we could send
Greg,
that out to the full board, motion and support.
Hey, Greg,
Yes.
we just finished 7E, didn't we? The fiscal year 20. We should be on F, fiscal year 2021, the hybrid DWI.
A lot of times I mix up my alphabet. So yes, you're right. Fiscal year 2021 hybrid DWI drug court grant agreement for final action.
I'll make a motion for final action.
Second, Heidemann.
We have motion and support. Doesn't need roll call, right? Because it's just a grant.
Grant agreement.
Grant agreement. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Now we're to the contract for the Charter Township of China.
Make a
Make a
motion to
motion
send
to
it on
forward
to the
to
full
full
board.
board.
Great top.
We have Great Top and Rushing for
Well,
motion
great
and
job. I'll
support.
second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Greg, can I
The
jump in a
sheriff
minute?
contract for police services with Charter Township of Fort Gratiot.
Greg, can I jump in for a minute?
Please do.
Backing up to the contract for Charter Township of China. A couple of years ago, China and East China share a car, and they were on opposite calendar years for their renewal. And they worked last year and the year before that to try to get them balanced out. They will be the same this year. It's just that East China did not get theirs finalized. It'll go to the board and then it'll be back to us next week, but they're going to be running on the same calendar year from now on.
Perfect.
Yep. All right. Go ahead. Sorry.
Thank you. So we need motion and support for item H for the Fort
Baldwin,
Gratiot.
I would make a motion.
Done, support.
We have Baldwin and Dunn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there any way that we can get Sheriff Donnellan? He's on somewhere. Could we get him mic'd up?
Let's see. We can have Tiffany promote him to a panelist.
In the
No reason-
meantime, Greg,
No reason
can I
he
just,
shouldn't get a promotion a few days before he's done,
isn't that the way to do it?
right?
Yeah. I would just like to say that Fort Gratiot Township has had the services for a decade or more, and it's always felt like we were part of the department. It didn't feel like a contracted service. The deputies that worked in Fort Gratiot under Donnellan's leadership always felt like they were part of the team. They kind of like a city would work. It's a smaller department. That's how Sheriff Donnellan led, and that's how the deputies have always acted in Fort Gratiot, and I've always been very thankful for that.
Beautiful. Thank you. Tim, are you there? Do you see anything, Carrie?
It looks like he's there, but I don't show that he has sound. So I'm not sure what he's connecting with. He's not muted.
All right, this is one of his last times for claim to fame. Okay, is there any other judiciary public safety matters at this time? Motion to receive and file packets?
So move, Heidemann.
Looks like Tim Donnellan's there now if he hits his mic button.
You got to unmute yourself, Tim. There you are.
How about now?
Gotcha.
There we are.
I do a lot of Zoom and other ones, but generally I don't do this type where some are in and some are out. So struggling through it, but I've been here since about 1:45, and appreciate the proclamations very much, and thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you in person, as well as from the Congressman's office, and it has been a wonderful almost 33 years, a great 3 decades, and I've truly enjoyed my service with St. Clair County, and I look forward to the next chapters, and I appreciate immensely the support.
Well, we appreciate what you've done. There will be a hole, so carry a shovel.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
All
Thanks.
right. Thank you very much. I'll be in touch here.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, if there's not, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
So move, done.
Support Rushing.
Support, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Howard, you or me?
I'll go.
Go ahead.
At this time, I'd like to call the St. Clair County Board of Commissioners Environmental and Public Works Committee meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you take the roll?
Commissioner McConnell,
Here.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Here, Port Huron, Michigan.
Commissioner Dunn,
Here, Port Huron, Michigan.
Commissioner Bohm, Commissioner Rushing,
Here, Port Huron, Michigan.
Commissioner Greatop,
Here, Port Huron, Michigan.
Commissioner Heidemann.
Here. At this time, I would move the addition to the agenda of the Resolution 20-32, 2020 Michigan Lighthouse Assistance Program, the grant application for final action as new business item, I guess I.
I would
Need a
make that
Are you
motion.
making the motion? Great top.
Been moved by Commissioner Greatop, second by
McConnell.
Connell. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. At this
Motion to
time,
accept.
Howard,
Agenda
to
as
accept the
amended.
amended agenda.
Okay,
Support.
excellent.
Great
The
top.
agenda. Do we have a motion and a second?
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Any citizens to be heard? Seeing none, any updates from commissioners? Seeing none, any conceptual initiatives from administration?
None this evening.
No old business, new business. The 2021-2025 Capital Improvement Program.
I'd move this, move to the full board.
Support. Great
Okay.
top.
It's been moved and seconded. Who seconded?
Yes, all in favor.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Item B, Resolution 20-3, the County at Large Drain Assessment for 2020 with our newly re-elected Drain Commissioner.
Motion by
Motion to
McConnell.
send it on to the full board. Great top.
Okay, it's been moved and second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Carried. The Bridge to Bay Trail wayfinding signage and safety plan.
Motion McConnell, send to full board.
Second, Rushing.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carried. The North Channel Stevenson property lease agreement with Six Rivers Land Conservatory.
Motion to send that on to the full board. Great top.
Done.
Second by Dunn. Any discussion? I'm sure Mr. Greatop can fill us in on all the nitty gritties.
It's just adding to the park what we had with 9 acres. We're now stretching out, making them just a little bit bigger, Howard.
Now, is that the property that has that building on like a house?
Yes, on the right-hand side, there's a small commercial building that stays with the owner. We get the stuff behind that all the way down to the North Channel.
Okay,
Gives us property that runs right up and butts up against the DNR launch site.
yeah, excellent. They're doing
Perfect
an
piece.
assessment, I think, of that building to see if it can be utilized. Anyway, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carried. The non-aeronautical air industrial park line 9, lot 9 ground lease.
Motion to send it to the full board, Howard. Rushing.
Great top. Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carried. The non-aeronautical air industrial park lot 10 ground lease. Benton. Entertain a motion.
Done.
Great top.
Rushing.
Moved by
McConnell.
Dunn, second by David Rushing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. For whatever reason, the next item, private hangar ground lease. It got kind of cut off on my copy here. I would entertain a motion for that ground lease.
Baldwin,
Great
so
job.
moved. Move to full board.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. IH, the RFP for tree removal on runway 22, tree height obstructions. Entertain a motion to go for an RFP.
Done.
It's been moved and
Supported, Rushing.
supported by Rushing. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Pretty straightforward. At this time, for final action, Resolution 20-32, the 2020 Michigan Lighthouse Assistance Program, the grant application.
So
I would
moved for
make
final
a
action, Rushing.
Baldwin, support.
Support.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, that's going to be an exciting thing to do the light in there and fix up the lantern room. Anyway, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Thank you. At this time, do we have? I would entertain a motion to accept and file the Smith Creek landfill activities report.
Baldwin, so moved.
Great job. Support.
Supported by Gray. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Any other environmental or public works matters? Seeing none, the information only, I would entertain a motion to receive and file the Park and Recreation Commission financial documents.
Great
Done.
job.
We have a second.
Rushing.
Okay, second by Rushing. Any questions about that? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carried. At this time, receive and file packets.
Baldwin, so moved.
O'Connell.
Great job.
Moved and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. A motion to adjourn.
Baldwin, so moved.
Rushing, second.
All in favor say aye.
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 We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Like to call the Ways and Means Committee to order. Could I have a roll call, please?
You're muted, Lid.
Okay, sorry. Commissioner McConnell,
Here.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Here, Port Huron, Michigan.
Commissioner Heidemann,
Here.
Commissioner Dunn,
Here, Port Huron, Michigan.
Commissioner Bohm, Commissioner Graytop,
Report here on Michigan.
Commissioner Rushing.
Here, Port Huron, Michigan. Here, going to move on to additions, deletion, changes to the agenda.
Motion to
Motion
accept
to
as
accept.
presented. Great job.
Done.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Do we have any citizens to be heard tonight?
Have none.
Okay, thanks. Seeing none, we'll move to updates. 4A, designated assessor position.
We do have Justin Sears on the call. He is going to give you a brief update. We'll just wait for Tiffany to promote him.
A lot of promotions.
Motions today.
Happy November.
Can I get one?
Real soon.
Yeah.
Are you a surveyor by chance?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Do you have to be a surveyor to apply?
Yes.
It
You
helps.
can't just take it and contract it out?
Only if you want a job. I don't think Justin wants his promotion.
kids play with the darndest things.
Yep.
I like it better than a Christmas tree.
Amen.
We're still closer to Halloween than we are Thanksgiving.
Well, I thought he was trying to say he was Batman.
Sorry for the delay, everyone. I am not able to make Justin a panelist. He's grayed out for that option. However, I have unmuted him, so he should be able to speak.
Are you there, Justin?
Justin, can you hear us?
It does look like we're having some technical difficulties, or Justin is. We'll see if we can get him maybe connected later in the meeting. If not,
Okay.
I will ask him to provide commissioners with a written email update.
All right. Well, thank you. We'll add him if he gets online later on. So now we'll go on from 4A to conceptual initiatives. Do we have any?
Evening.
Seeing none, we have no old business. 7A, new business, resolution 2021, establishing per dimes for Board of Commissioners.
Motion to send that on to the full board. Great job.
Support McConnell.
And because we got double talk here, I think that was Gray Top and Baldwin.
Or McConnell.
Close enough.
I'll let Lydia take care of that.
Could have been done too.
Yeah. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Moving to 7B, resolution 2022, waiving investment interest earned.
So move, Heidemann.
Support McConnell.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Any discussion? All in,
Makes sense. Or
We
I
do it every year.
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion passed. Moving to 7C, resolution 20-24, 80/20 cost sharing model adoption.
So move, done.
Great job. Support.
Okay, we have motion support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Now moving on to 7D, resolution 20-25, budget adoption 2021.
So move, Heidemann.
Support Baldwin.
Okay, we have support and a second. Any discussion?
line 3 on page 4.
Would you please go into detail?
I can give you a brief update. So before you this evening is the 2021 proposed general fund budget. Overall, the budget increased only 1.16% over 2020, so very small increase. Our tax revenues are going up a little bit more than they normally would due to the impact of the DTE gas to energy plant. And something of note that I know Howard will enjoy, in 2021, our tax revenues will actually be at or and slightly exceed our pre-recession 2008-9 property tax. So we're finally there.
We knew it would happen sooner or later.
We did.
How long did that take?
Well, since 09.
12 years.
Dave, do the math for me.
Quick question for you, Carrie.
Yes.
How does it look for revenue sharing from the state?
So as you know, in 2021, the governor did take away 920,000 of our revenue sharing, but for 2020, but for next year, it was flat. So we should receive the same next year as we do this year. And that's 3.9 million, assuming that she does not cut one of our payments again, which, right now there has not been any talk of that. So revenue sharing is flat. You know, other than property taxes, overall our revenues are pretty flat, or in some cases they have been reduced. We do know we're still going to have the impact of reduced revenues going into next year because of COVID. So we very conservatively budgeted some decreases and flat revenues for the items that we can reasonably predict. The county's pension contribution went up by $1.45 million countywide. So our actual contribution towards pension benefits went up to 25.5% of payroll, or an 8% increase over this year. So that was a significant increase in our expenditures. We did kind of refine our budgeting process a lot this year, more so than we have done in the past. So when we looked at our wage and fringe budgets, we looked at people's actual elections to the 457 plan. So instead of budgeting the maximum amount for everyone, we did budget what their actual contributions were. For those that contribute nothing towards the plan, we did budget a small amount in case they do change their mind. So budgets will be a little bit tighter next year. A couple things to note is the administration building. The debt on this building will be paid off next year. However, the debt fund will be fully funded by the end of this year, so no additional appropriations will be required to that debt fund. And partway through next year, the portion of our 911 service fees that go towards the phase 1 tower debt, that fund will also be fully funded, the debt fund. So those revenues will just come back to the general fund. We included some supplemental schedules in your presentation, kind of breaking down the budget in different ways. We do only have one proposed staffing change for next year, and that is in the administration office, with the promotion to Dina from accounting manager to the finance director position. We looked at the accounting manager position and kind of reevaluated it, and we are proposing eliminating the accounting manager position and changing it to a staff accountant. So we will have one less supervisory person in our suite, but that's for a savings of $53,000 next year. Our budgeted contingency is just over $190,000. That's most of the highlights, unless anyone has any specific questions on any line items or the budget. Right now, the public hearing is scheduled for your next meeting on the 19th. So we will have a public hearing, and then you can choose to adopt it that evening if you want, or in December. The special revenue fund budgets will come to you in December, along with all of the final budget adjustments for all of the funds.
Carrie, what did we use for like head count at the jail when we were trying to figure out for that portion? I mean, we're way down this year, so.
We used this year's current trends, basically where we're at right now at around 60. So we did budget that line item, okay, almost $1 million less than what we initially budgeted for this year.
Okay, good. Just because, right, we don't know.
Yeah, we tried to be very conservative with the revenues. You know, the good part about this is with the reduced operations, especially for this year, departments, spending is down, so the expenditures are coming in well under budget. So it is making up for those revenue shortfalls that we're seeing.
Good. All right. Thank you.
Any further discussion?
Gary, one more question. You say we're paying off the administration building, but DHS has their lease runs one additional year.
Their lease runs through 2023.
So almost 2 years then?
Yes.
Okay.
Carrie,
do you think they'll?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you think they'll come back and ask us for a revised lease now that we don't have the payment, because that payment was, their lease was based partially on our payment?
So the lease agreement actually already does take that into account, when the debt is paid off, and their lease, their rent payments to us do decrease already in the agreement correspondingly.
All right.
So assuming that with, you know, I think throughout the year we've talked about, we didn't know how the pandemic was going to affect budgets. Do you feel like we're going to be, kind of flat through 21 and we may see additional hits in 22? Or, because when I look at things, I kind of feel like between furloughs and some of the staffing changes that can happen naturally, I don't feel like we're in a real bad position considering the year we've had. Is that accurate?
You know, that is accurate. Our 20 budget is, it's looking pretty good. But we did get a significant amount of CARES funding this year that does have to be spent by the end of the year. So that has been offsetting some of our expenditures and additional costs as well. We are able to use those funds to perhaps, you know, get some supplies, replenish some of our PPE, our cleaning supplies, those types of things. So we can have a good supply of them and use the funds by the end of this year. And those supplies can be used on into next year. So that will kind of help us front load us in some areas.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
I do have Justin Sears on the line now, and he is unmuted.
Let's finish this one and then we'll put them on. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. We'll go back to 4A, the designated assessor position. You there, Justin?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, good. I actually put some slides in that together, but I don't see that I'm going to be able to share that. So basically what I want to do is give you guys a brief update on the designated assessor position. This is something that was started back in 2018 when PA 260 was PA 260 of 2018 was signed into law. It amended the General Property Tax Act and basically is requiring the county to have a designated assessor on file by December 31st of 2020. So we have to have a DA on file by December 31st. It's kind of, there hasn't been a whole lot of guidance. We just got some towards the end of August, some guidance came out by the STC. So it's kind of been a whole lot of open questions on this position and also this new legislation that and how to move forward with it. With that said, I guess I'll kind of tell you what the designated assessor is. I'll quickly tell you that. The designated assessor is basically a certified assessor, certified as a advanced assessor or a master assessor, other words known as a level 3 or level 4 assessor. And basically what they're there for is if the unit is found to be non-compliant after an AMAR audit review, then that designated assessor would be there to take over as the assessor of record. And that's what the designated assessor is for. So until they contract with a unit that's found to be non-compliant, they really don't have any responsibilities other than maintaining their certification and staying up on the current tax law and pretty much staying in good standings. So for a local unit that would be forced to contract with the designated assessor, they've got a few opportunities before they would be forced to contract with a local unit. So what happens is we have our AMAR audit review. We actually have one coming up in 2022. We have an AMAR audit review coming up. And basically how it works is the STC, they come in, they do their review. If they find any discrepancies, they let that local unit know that there was discrepancies found, and then they have an option, or then they have to, the local unit has to put together a corrective action plan, submit it to the STC, and then get it approved. And then as long as they fix those discrepancies and it's found on the initial follow-up review, then that local unit's fine and they'll be good until the next AMAR audit. However, if they don't fix those discrepancies, then at that time they've got two options. They would have the option one would be to hire a new level 3 or level 4 assessor, and then file another corrective action plan, and then have that approved by the STC, and then they would have to fix those discrepancies. Their other option would be to contract with the designated assessor. So at this point, it would still be on their terms if they wanted to contract with the DA. However, if they hired a level 2 or 3 or level 4 assessor, chose that option, they then if they were found to be non-compliant on the second follow-up review, then at that point, they would be forced to contract with the designated assessor. And that's what the designated assessor is for, and that's how a local unit would be forced to contract with them. And then at that point, that local unit would have to contract with them for 5 years. It's a minimum 5-year term. At the 3-year mark, the local unit could petition to have jurisdiction back over their role to hire a different assessor, but that designated assessor would still have to serve the 5-year term. So that's just to kind of clear up the designated assessor. Why do we need a designated assessor? We need a designated assessor because it's statutorily required now. So again, PA 660 of 2018, that's pretty much, that's why we need to have one on file. Who's responsible for the cost incurred by the designated assessor? Per PA 660, the costs are responsible, the local units are responsible for that cost. Basically, when they either choose to contract with them or they're forced to contract with them, that's the local units would be required and responsible to pay for those costs. The only cost that the county would have, and this would be on their own to choose that, is if the designated assessor, part of the agreement, the interlocal agreement, is if they had a retaining fee or something like that, and the county chose to absorb some of that cost, but that would be all up to the county to agree on that. But by law, the local units are responsible for the cost. That's what it comes down to. So who's responsible for selecting the designated assessor? This is all of you. So all of the Board of Commissioners have to agree on a designated assessor and in the majority of the local units. So it'd be all of you and the majority of the local units have to agree on a designated assessor. And then once all of you agree on a designated assessor, we have an agreement that put together. We then would have to submit that to the STC. They have the final say. They could look at it and say, we don't think, your designated assessor that you're proposing here is qualified, and they could deny it. And then we'd have to go back to square one, and we'd have to select another designated assessor and present that to the STC. And after they deny one, they give you an additional 60 days to come up with a different designated assessor.
Justin, I got a question for you.
Uh-huh.
If I understood you correctly at the beginning of this, you said this has to be done before the end of the year.
Yes. So
with the townships that just got elected throughout the county, we have 23 townships, 31 total municipalities. You're saying they have to take action before the end of the year. So this would have to be on every agenda within the 31 communities before the end of the year and have to be approved. Is this a simple majority, or does it have to be a unanimous?
Majority, just simple majority. So we'd have to have, and that's another unknown. The question, does it have to go before the board? Do they have to present that? Do the city managers have the authority to be that majority? Does the supervisors? There's kind of a lot of unknown out there. I know there's a lot of counties that are in the same boat here, and that's one of the biggest concerns. That's not going to get done by December 31st. So,
yeah, because you got a lot of moving parts
really
in a lot of the townships. I'm not sure about the cities and villages, but the new board members may not have a clue of what you're talking about. Maybe even some of the current board members. You weren't around in 2009 when Kanoke Township did not pass the 14-point system set by the state, and they had to go to an outside assessor at a cost of $60,000. So I'm not sure this can get done before the end of the year.
Well, it's almost got to get done by is it the 12th of December or the 10th? I forget what our meeting is.
Yeah, your last meeting is December 10th.
December 10th. So, I mean, we're talking 33 days from 35 days, whatever.
Terry, you're probably already taking care of this, or Justin, or together. Could we expedite letters to every municipality so that they have this on their agenda, and that we do need a firm response for us to take action before at our last meeting?
Yep, this project Justin is leading, so he can take care of that.
All right.
Yeah, and I'll take care of that. And I included them when we sent an RFP out in October, and we had a deadline of the 10th in October for a designated assessor. So we've sent out an RFP. We only got one applicant, one qualified applicant, actually one applicant at all that applied for it and is interested for it. Like I said, she is qualified for it. But when I sent that RFP out, I also sent that out to all the city managers and the supervisors and superintendents, and also all the local assessors and that too. So I did send it out, so they're kind of aware of what's going on. But it probably would be nice if we could either have a
Justin, if I
meeting
could
with
ask
them
you, then for tonight, then this is just for discussion only. We will be taking no action. You don't need a motion for anything or any action taken by the Board of Commissioners tonight.
That's correct.
All right, thank you.
Is the person that filled out the RFP, are they currently working for any of our townships?
So the person that filled it out, she's the assessor for Kimball Township. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but Kimball Township's one of the units that back, I think when they had the 14-point review, but anyways, they had some issues and they had to get rid of their assessor because of their role. And she's the one who took it over and fixed all those discrepancies and brought it back up to compliance. So that's who we are talking as far as the DA. And like I said, she is very qualified for this position. But again, we have only the one that applied. But this is something that I would need for you guys to agree upon. And then also I'd have to get the majority of the local units to agree upon as well to move forward. But again, not to ask for final action tonight, but I had to get this out there so we can figure it out. So that'd be the next step.
Justin, does the designated assessor have to be practicing assessing in the county currently, or do they only have to be a level 3 or level 4?
They only have to be a certified level 3 or level 4 assessor and hold a current certification, and that's it.
Okay, but they don't have to be a designated assessor for a local municipality currently. My second question is, and maybe this is too far into the weeds, but what if they're our designated assessor and it's their unit that needs a designated assessor to step in? I mean, is there any benefit to looking outside? When you put people on notice, did you go outside of the county?
I shared it with the associations that I belong to, with the MAA, MAD, and that. So I did share it out there with everybody. But it's, like I said, this is who we got.
Sure.
That applied. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, and then similar to an assessing unit, can a person be a designated assessor for more than one county?
Yes, somebody can be a designated assessor for more than one county. Because I know there's further north, there's been a few that have applied to be the assessor at a few different counties. So
they don't have the same limits as someone where you can only, have so many municipalities based on taxable value kind of thing.
They are if they're a level 3 assessor, then it'll assess value will play a factor in that. They have to follow the same limits. If they're a level 4, it doesn't matter.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Do we have any more questions for Justin?
Yep.
Okay, seeing none. Thank you very much, Justin. We're not going to be taking no action tonight, and you'll get the information out to all the municipalities, and we'll try to get this done by our meeting in December.
Well, does Justin need us to potentially approve the person at our next meeting contingent upon the majority of the rest of the units? I mean, should we move it to the next meeting and we can always take no action then?
That's a good idea. If I don't believe the boards can get that information to us, but we can just forward that to the next meeting if you want. We want to put this, I think that's a good idea, to have a motion to have this on our full agenda in 2 weeks for the 19th, November 19th meeting, and see where we stand with the local municipalities.
I'm wondering if we've only gotten one application, does it make it easier to send it to the municipalities to say, this is the person who's applied, the County Board of Commissioners is going to meet on it. If you're in favor, it might speed it up a little bit.
That could
So I
be
can make that
discussion.
motion if that's.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Justin, he's going to be taking the lead on this and getting the information out. So I don't want to tie his hands at all. I like your motion to at least have it on the agenda for the November 19th meeting, but let Justin get the information out to everybody and see where that comes back.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion to just have this on the agenda for the 19th. Can I have a second?
Support McConnell.
Any further discussion?
Well, I'm just glad that we've got Georgia that has some township experience, so that otherwise we'd be lost on this board. Thank you, Georgia.
Your facetiousness is coming through, Greg. But for the record, I'm not sure Georgia was there when we had the issues 11 years ago with the townships, and there was about half a dozen in the county that had errors.
She was in high school.
Yeah.
Actually, I was a certified assessor then in the county. I just wasn't with St. Clair County.
And Fort Gratiot, I'm fairly certain they had no issues. Where
No.
Kimball did. Riley Township had 3 issues, but I worked with our assessor, drafted a nice letter, forwarded it to the state of Michigan, and they accepted our corrections. So Riley had no expense correcting their issues with the 14-point system back then. But all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. All right, we're going to move to 7E, Resolution 20-1, 2021 Collective Bargaining Agreement, Sheriff Deputies 2020 to 2022, and this is for final action, and we'll need a roll call.
Great top motion.
Done. Support.
Any discussion? Could I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Graytop,
Yes, from Port Huron,
Commissioner
Michigan.
Gushing.
Yes. All right, moving on to 7F, Policy 314, Equal Employment Opportunity.
Motion, great top.
Support McConnell.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Moving on to 7G, Policy 321.5, Conflict of Interest.
Motion done.
Motion McConnell, send to full board.
I'll
We have a
support.
motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. 7H, Policy 323, Discrimination and Harassment.
Motion,
Done.
great
Full
top.
board.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Moving on to 7I, Policy 374, Emergency Closure and Partial Closure. Can I have a motion? Did we have a motion?
Baldwin, so moved.
Support McConnell.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Okay, we'll move on to 8. At this time, do you have any other Ways and Means Matters? Seeing none. 9A, information only. Can I have a motion to file?
Done.
Great top.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Number 10, can I have a motion to receive and file packets?
So moved. Heidemann.
Baldwin, support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
Move
opposed?
we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. We do need a motion and a second.
Done.
Friedman made the motion. I'll support.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We stand adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
See you, everybody.